The space race of the 21st century is no longer about merely reaching the moon or exploring distant planets. It has evolved into a strategic, economic battlefield with far-reaching consequences for nations, corporations, and humanity as a whole. Space is no longer the domain of scientific curiosity alone. It has transformed into a highly competitive arena where global powers and private enterprises vie for dominance, resources, and technological superiority. This competition spans multiple layers, including satellite technology, space tourism, mineral extraction from asteroids, and even the establishment of extraterrestrial colonies. What was once a symbol of national pride has now become a battleground for economic supremacy, reshaping international relations and global markets. At the heart of this shift is the growing recognition that space is a potential gold mine of resources. Rare metals, such as platinum, gold, and other essential minerals needed for high-tech industries, exist in abundance in asteroids and on planetary bodies like the Moon and Mars. The scarcity of these materials on Earth has driven up their value, making the exploitation of space resources not only feasible but essential for sustaining future technological growth. For instance, asteroid mining has been touted as the next great leap in resource extraction, with the potential to provide trillions of dollars worth of materials that could fuel the global economy for decades to come. In this context, space is no longer viewed solely as a scientific frontier, but as the next great economic opportunity. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Planetary Resources are leading the charge in this new era of space exploration. They are not just focused on launching satellites or sending astronauts into space. They're actively pursuing ways to extract, process, and commercialize space resources. The involvement of private companies has fundamentally altered the dynamics of the space race. Whereas the space race of the 20th century was primarily driven by government funding and state-controlled space agencies, the 21st century sees the involvement of private enterprises that are both competing with and collaborating with governments to achieve space dominance. The economic potential of space extends beyond resource extraction. Satellites have become the backbone of modern communication, navigation, and observation technologies. Nations and companies alike are investing heavily in satellite networks to gain an edge in telecommunications, weather forecasting, and global positioning systems, GPS. The growing reliance on satellite technology has sparked a race to dominate this infrastructure, with countries like the United States, China, and Russia vying for control of satellite networks that can enhance both military and civilian capabilities. This competition is not limited to Earth's orbit. As more nations and companies launch satellites, the space around Earth becomes increasingly crowded, leading to concerns about space debris and the long-term sustainability of satellite operations. However, space is not just a battlefield for economic gain. It has also become a new front in the global military competition. The militarization of space is a topic of growing concern, as countries invest in developing anti-satellite weapons and space-based defense systems. The ability to disable or destroy an adversary's satellites could cripple communication, navigation, and surveillance capabilities, making space a critical domain for national security. This has led to the creation of new military branches, such as the United States Space Force, which is tasked with protecting U.S. interests in space and ensuring that the country maintains its technological and strategic edge over rivals. The competition for dominance in space is also closely tied to technological innovation. Advances in rocket technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics are accelerating the pace of space exploration, making it more cost-effective and accessible than ever before. Reusable rockets, for instance, have dramatically reduced the cost of launching payloads into space, opening up new opportunities for private companies and smaller nations to participate in space activities. Furthermore, the development of autonomous spacecraft and robotic systems has made it possible to explore distant planets and moons without the need for human crews, further expanding the possibilities for space exploration and exploitation. China, in particular, has emerged as a major player in the new space race. The country has invested heavily in its space program, with ambitious plans to build a lunar base, send manned missions to Mars, and establish a permanent presence in space. China's space ambitions are not just about scientific exploration. They are driven by a desire to gain economic and strategic advantages. By developing its own satellite networks, space stations, and resource extraction capabilities, China aims to challenge the dominance of the United States and Russia in space and secure its place as a global superpower. Russia, too, remains a key player in the space economy, with a long history of space exploration and technological innovation. While its space program has faced challenges in recent years, Russia continues to play a crucial role in the International Space Station, ISS, and has plans for its own space station and lunar exploration missions. Russia's space ambitions are closely tied to its national security interests, as the country seeks to maintain its strategic advantage in space and protect its satellites and other space assets from potential threats. The United States, meanwhile, remains at the forefront of space exploration and technological innovation, with NASA and private companies like SpaceX leading the way. The U.S. government has recognized the economic and strategic importance of space, with recent policies aimed at encouraging private investment in space technologies and supporting the development of a sustainable space economy. The Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the moon and eventually send astronauts to Mars, is a key component of the U.S. strategy to maintain its leadership in space exploration and resource exploitation. Beyond the traditional space powers, other nations are also entering the space race. Countries like India, Japan, and the United Arab Emirates have launched their own space missions, seeking to establish themselves as players in the global space economy. These nations recognize that space is not just a domain for scientific exploration, but a key driver of economic growth and technological innovation. By investing in space technologies, they aim to boost their economies, enhance their technological capabilities, and secure a share of the economic opportunities that space offers. The growing involvement of private companies and smaller nations in the space race has also raised important questions about the governance of space. The Outer Space Treaty, which was signed in 1967, establishes that space is a global commons, free for exploration and use by all nations. However, the treaty does not provide clear guidelines for the commercial exploitation of space resources, leading to concerns about a potential space grab by nations and corporations seeking to claim ownership of valuable space assets. The lack of a comprehensive legal framework for space resource extraction has led to calls for new international agreements that would regulate the commercial use of space and ensure that the benefits of space exploration are shared equitably among all nations. The economic potential of space is not without its challenges. The cost of space exploration and resource extraction remains high, and the technological hurdles to developing sustainable space industries are significant. Furthermore, the environmental impact of space activities, particularly the problem of space debris, poses a serious threat to the long-term sustainability of space exploration. As more satellites and spacecraft are launched into orbit, the risk of collisions and the accumulation of debris increases, raising concerns about the safety and viability of future space operations. Despite these challenges, the economic potential of space is undeniable. The space economy is expected to grow rapidly in the coming decades, with estimates suggesting that it could be worth trillions of dollars by the mid-21st century. This growth will be driven by a range of activities, including satellite services, space tourism, resource extraction, and the development of new technologies for space exploration and habitation. The race to dominate the space economy is already underway, with nations and corporations investing heavily in the infrastructure and technologies needed to exploit the vast resources of space. In addition to its economic potential, space also holds the promise of solving some of the most pressing challenges facing humanity. The development of space-based solar power, for instance, could provide a nearly limitless source of clean energy, helping to address the global energy crisis and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Space technologies could also play a key role in addressing climate change by improving our ability to monitor and mitigate environmental changes on Earth. Furthermore, the colonization of other planets could provide a solution to the problem of overpopulation and ensure the long-term survival of humanity. However, the commercialization of space also raises ethical and political questions. Who will have access to the resources of space? And how will the benefits of space exploration be distributed? Will the space economy exacerbate existing inequalities, with the richest nations and corporations reaping the rewards while others are left behind? These are questions that will need to be addressed as the space economy continues to grow and evolve. In conclusion, space has become a new economic battlefield where nations and corporations compete for dominance, resources, and technological superiority. The commercialization of space offers enormous economic potential, but it also presents significant challenges and risks. As the space economy continues to expand, it will reshape global markets, international relations, and the future of humanity. Whether this new frontier will be a source of prosperity and cooperation or conflict and inequality remains to be seen.